have no idea what this podcast is about.
Okay, so if you didn't
Can you
know,
see me? Is it too? Are you able to see me?
yes, I can.
Oh, I thought I was like too dark or something.
Yeah, anyways, if you didn't know what this podcast is about, it's about video games and more general digital media and how it impacts your
Oh,
life. Okay? So let's start with the important question. Did you play a lot of video games as a kid or recently or ever? Did you ever have a period where you were really playing a lot of video games?
yeah. I mean, like, I still play a bit of video games.
I know,
Like,
but I'm looking at, let's see, like if you ever had a period where you were playing too much or you were addicted or you had some sort of obsession with playing all the time. Does that ring a bell?
that's like me all the time, except I don't game all the time.
Okay, then what are you obsessed with all the time?
I mean, like, when I have free time, I let myself play. I just play Apex Legends.
So you kind of see it as an outlet, as like a stress reliever, a hobby,
Yeah,
as something to pass the time.
yeah, pretty much. How about you?
So, so contrary to popular belief, you think that video games help you out and they make your life better.
Yeah, I mean, my parents won't agree with
Okay.
that, but I would,
I would
I would
agree
say,
with that because personally, I at one point played a lot of games and I was like addicted to them, and then I
you
finally
probably play Genshin Impact or something.
no, I didn't. I
I know that's
played
what happened to you.
I played CS, but I had a point where I was pretty addicted and I wouldn't get off the game all the time. But then it got better because I got distracted by school and whatnot. But I think from that I learned to use video games properly. But so you've never had a period where you were playing too much or you were concerned that you're gonna be stuck on your game your whole life.
Well, not really, because like, I mean, I want to play it. It's either like my parents would just like take away the iPad or something. So
So as a kid, your parents would like take away your games.
yeah,
Do they
pretty
limit how
much.
much you can play?
Yeah, I mean, like maybe after like 1 or 2 hours, you'd be like, okay, you can't, you have to stop playing. And when
And you think that was good? You think that helped you not become a loser or not become, you know, someone who's always on the game?
not really, because I feel like if you have your priorities straight, or like if you do recognize that there are other emergencies, like naturally you wouldn't really spend that much time. Like I could have, like I played a bit during the school year, but and sometimes I play till like late night if I really have like a social week or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then, but then it's not like, I mean, I could play all the time, but I wouldn't. It's just because like, oh, I need to sleep or whatever, you know.
So you have
I'm
enough self
addicted.
control to prevent yourself from letting it overtake you.
I just no time, so I guess you could say that.
So it's like you just have other things to distract you from it, basically.
Oh yeah, or it's like if I do like overextend myself and play gaming too much, like I'll deal with the consequences. Like that's up to me to deal
What
with the
are your
consequences.
consequences? Let's say you
Sleep,
you so sleep deprivation.
and then like poor academic performance.
Has that ever happened to you from playing games?
Yeah, sleep deprivation has happened before.
What about the academic performance?
I don't know. Sometimes I'd sleep really late and I still like be fine the next day and do really well on tests. So yeah, I don't think there's any correlation between. My parents would argue differently, but I would say like it doesn't really
Well, but did
bother
they
me.
try to tell you that if you play too many games, you're gonna fail school, something like that?
They say like when I play too many games, I become stupid, which I don't think is true.
Okay,
Because
I agree. I don't think they make people stupid. But
I mean, like
what do you think
it
you
numbs the
see that they
brain.
don't see? Like, do you think it's because they've never played it themselves, or what?
Because they're just bad at games. Like that's it for CS for CS:GO and Apex. Like you think it's just shooting, but then there's also like some sort of strategy involved. Like, you can't just
Right.
you there's a timing involved, so you have to either rush in and expect that the other people are not like on guard, or just like take your time and just. there's a lot of elements that goes involved beyond just shooting. I guess it's like it's not that much brain power, but then there's a lot of split decisions you have to make at that time that
Hmm.
really doesn't. I feel like if you actually play the game kind of competitively, once you're good enough, of course, like once you're good enough, you kind of want to play competitively, and once you play competitively, then you do kind of have to, I guess, like think a bit when you're doing certain things. Yeah.
Yeah. So would your parents be not take you seriously if you told them that from video games you can learn strategy and teamwork and like cooperation? Like
I
as
mean,
opposed to
like,
playing a sport, let's say. Like compared to I don't know, playing club basketball, do you think you could argue that playing video games is just as much teamwork if you're playing with like let's say the same amount of people?
I'm playing sports is obviously better, but the thing is, like, okay, are talking about how video games is not as bad for you is not the same as arguing with your parents, because that's like a completely different thing.
Well, yeah, I'm just
Like, if
saying
it,
if you were to develop like an argument for video games as a way to build teamwork and things like that, would you what would you say? I mean, would you agree it's a way to build teamwork? Would you be able to argue that?
um, not really. Like, the main positives I feel like coming from video games is not about thinking strategic wise or whatever. Because
Hmm.
obviously a big part is aiming, you just shoot or whatever. But I think one thing that gaming is really good at is it helps you become really good at trash talking and receiving trash talk
Is
as
that a
well.
good thing?
No, it is a good thing.
Okay.
Okay, like think about it. Like when you're playing against others, right?
Hmm.
And even just regarding like sports or just like competition of any sort, you're gonna definitely have pressure. And then people are gonna try to put pressure on you to try to break you down. And
Yeah.
in like those like really high stakes, high pressure video games, like especially like CS:GO or Apex, like there are moments where there's money online, or in our case, there's no money online for us, but then there's still moments you want to actually win, right? And you
Yeah.
can't just like break down, just like shoot around and not think at those critical moments. Like you actually have to uh like actually think on the spot and make the right decision at the right timing. And then, like in video games, what makes it so like high pressure sometimes is because of like the trash talking that happens over chat. Like people can just like your teammates can even go and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're you're trash, bro." And I think that's what makes like games fun because it makes it so much more entertaining to hear people trash talk each other. But then also you could apply for like sports too, right? Because let's say you're playing basketball, and
Hmm.
then we're gonna definitely try to break you down mentally. So if you're not able to receive trash talk, which I felt like video games has definitely helped me, like
Okay.
deal with that, learn how to refute other people. Otherwise, like you're just not gonna be prepared mentally for the world in general. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I've definitely built a lot of thick skin from video game trash talking, whether or not it was me who did it myself or from other people doing it to me. But
You're asking basketball though.
that's irrelevant. I would still beat you in a 1v1.
That's cap. That's
No,
actually
it's
cap.
not. No, it's not.
No, you barely made any threes or twos.
But
You
yeah,
only made
I think
you
like
could barely make layups.
okay, I think a lot of people yeah like are take what people say online a little too seriously. I do think video games helps you if you are in a right setting to learn it. It can help you like get used to what the world inevitably will be, which is not always going to be nice to you. You're not always going to have your feelings respected.
Also, like, there's a really crucial difference between um trash talk and actual criticism. Like
Hmm.
you need to learn how to, differentiate between like constructive criticism when someone's like actually providing you actual advice versus someone's just talking shit about you, you know?
Yeah.
Like for example, if your friends are like talking with you, like you have to learn to not take a lot of things personally. Because that's like just like moments ago I was saying like, oh, you're trash at basketball, right?
Yeah.
Like you could either take that like personal and be offended by it, or you could
Hmm.
not. And it's up to you. But then in those moments, like you could either tell like I'm either actually being serious and actually being mean to you versus I'm just trolling you and just trying to like, you know, just for entertainment. So like in those moments, I feel like it's really important because I think like nowadays a lot of people are just like so easily offended
Yeah.
or they can't really take a lot of criticism easily. And of course, like a lot of guys would just like when they try to break it down mentally, they either actually trash talk or criticize you. And it's important to actually be able to recognize the difference because what if you're what if you're gonna like just burn a bridge or a friendship over because like you can't really take you take something too personal. Like
Yeah.
what if your friends are saying, oh you're at this and then you're just like I hate this guy and I'm just gonna not talk to him for the rest and you're just miserable and alone. Like
Yeah,
that's
you
just
can't
not
do that. Yeah.
yeah, you can't do that. So there's also a skill in which you have to recognize like whether someone is trash talking you or providing constructive criticism or trash talking and providing criticism at the same time. You know?
What's the difference? What's like the defining factor? Is it the insults or the do you think if someone genuinely gives constructive criticism, you can't insult them in the process?
Well, insulting is not trash talking, you know. Insulting is like actually
Okay, but like if
having
you say I'm terrible at basketball, that's an insult, right? But like it's obviously not serious constructive criticism, right? So how would you what's actual
well, I mean,
constructive criticism?
insult carries the intention of genuinely trying to injure someone. But
So when
like
you say
trash
I'm
talking,
terrible at basketball, you're not trying to intentionally injure me.
oh no, I'm not trying to injure you, but I'm just speaking facts though. You are pretty bad at basketball.
Okay, so
Um,
if it's a fact, then would that imply that it's constructive criticism?
no, I'm joking. That was trash talking.
Okay. I mean, just be honest. I don't care. Like, I still won in the 1v1 last play, so it doesn't matter. But
No, you didn't.
I
I
did.
literally beat you in the last one we won.
No, you didn't. Anyway,
I literally did. You fell down, and then I beat
moving
you. On
on. So, no, I agree. I think in general, like gaming is a better environment than like TikTok or Instagram to build some thick skin with people, throwing trash talk at you. And I think trash talk's definitely equal in games versus real life sports because you think that because people are hiding behind a screen they're going to insult more, but it's like the same amount.
yeah, I honestly can't really say there's a definite line of like between trash talk and criticism.
Well,
Like maybe just
criticism what implies that you give instruction on how to become better, whereas if you just say you're
well,
terrible
yeah,
at
I meant like
basketball, you're not going to get better from that.
yeah, I guess I mean trash talk versus insult. I guess it depends on how well you know that person and the context behind it. Like I don't know, like when I like for example when I joke with you, like you know I don't have any intention of like hurting you in any sort of way, right? So
Yeah.
then you know it's like just trash talk, but like perhaps like insult is like when you I don't know. Can't think of it right now.
No, it's fine. I
Or-
was just curious if there was a clear difference that you learned.
Mm.
So do you actively get trash talked when you play games? Is that like a thing you that happens all the time?
No, I'm the trash talker.
What, to your teammates?
Yeah.
And do you think that do you think that's a positive thing to do? I mean, you can be honest. Like, does it not matter? Like, should they just be like learn to be okay with it,
I
or do
don't
you?
care if they're okay with it. I'm just doing my best to spread negativity in the world, you know?
Okay, that's not a message we're trying to send. Okay.
Like for
So
example, if I'm
okay.
playing a game and if someone dies, I'm like, I don't know that person. I'm just going to like, you're like, I type that down. And that's how I'm gonna get mad. I'm just gonna like keep trash talking to get him mad. And that's how I
What do
play
you
video
gain by
games.
doing that?
Entertainment.
Why is it entertaining?
Rage rating. How's that not entertaining?
So it's funny because they get mad.
Yeah.
So do you think that's how most games are, like competitive games online?
Um, no, because I censor words, so it was like kind of annoying.
Okay,
It's
well
not like
besides that, like the content of the message.
But yeah, I mean that's what I feel like makes it entertaining for me, but I don't know if it's entertaining for them or not.
Well, if your kid was if you like one day walked in on him playing Xbox and he was like trash talking someone on his mic, would you be proud, disappointed? Would you tell him not to do that? Would you like be okay to be like, oh, this is just it's just banter?
I mean, if let's say like it was back when I was a kid and I was more naive, then I'd be like, yo, why are you being so mean? But now if I see someone do that, I just think it's hilarious. I mean, it's the same
Okay.
thing. Like if someone trash talks me, I actually laugh too. 'Cause I think it's hilarious. Like if I'm really bad at basketball and someone tells me, dude, you're fast, I'll be like, I actually think it's funny. So it's not like, oh, it's a one-way thing.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's fun. Yeah.
Okay, so since you've had seemingly a very positive experience with games, that's good. That's kind of what I intended. But what about like your social media use in general? Like, do you think Instagram is unhealthy? Like, do you think TikTok's unhealthy? Like these types of things. Do you think this is not good for people?
Um, I mean, based on like what like our algorithms recommend to like people normally. I'm just saying, like, with the free will to edit anything and create basically any content and seeing like the trend of what is being made out there and what is recommended to me by the Instagram algorithm, I would say it's pretty bad because it's actually, I guess, ruining our own version of humor. Like, if I was maybe like several years ago and I looked at the humor I have now, it's probably be like, yo,
Why
it's
is it
kind of
disappointing? Because it doesn't make sense. He's stupid, like unintelligent.
no, because like it's genuinely kind of up. Like, yeah.
Okay. Uh, so, do you think that people who are regularly watching Reels or TikTok, do you think that's bad for them? Do you think that's gonna like ultimately just be bad for their health and for their mental?
I mean, yeah, I think social media generally is pretty bad. I only go for on social media purely for entertainment. Like I just use it to like just like dopamine hits, like just how I go on to like video games just to rage with people. Like it's just purely sources of dopamine hits for me.
And do you
That's
think that
that
makes it addicting though? Do you think that's a problem? That it's so easy to get hooked onto that?
I wouldn't say I'm addicted, but then like if I have free time, I'd just be like, oh, like let me scroll through reels. And then if I don't have anything, I don't see anything funny, then I'd be like kind of disappointed, like, oh, this shit is boring. And now just maybe go read a book because I don't know. I I always need something to distract me. Like if Instagram becomes like too boring or just like I'm just done with it, I might just go read. And then if I'm done with reading, then I might just like sometimes I get so bored that I actually like just learn things because I want to distract myself from boredom. Like that's just
Do you think that's like a new mentality that people have that they always need something to occupy their minds? Like, do you think
no.
it's regretful that people have to constantly stimulate themselves and like make sure there's something that their mind's thinking about?
But I don't think a lot of people have that except for people with OCD. I don't think I have OCD, but
No, I
I feel
mean
like
like
I'm
let's
just
say you're riding the metro to school or you're riding the train or something. Like, are you the type of person to just go on your phone during the ride, or you look out the window and think about stuff like? Because there's a difference between being on your phone to like distract yourself or until you get there versus
yeah.
looking out the window and thinking and just having just silence and just enjoying the view.
I mean, most often, I mean, nowadays I've been reading a lot. So nowadays I read a lot. Uh, I used to either listen to music or scroll on Instagram. There are rare days where I generally just don't want to listen to music and I just look outside and watch
Hmm.
like thing pass by, but then those are kind of rare. So mainly I just go on my phone, listen to music, read books. I like reading fantasy books. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Do you think music is overplayed now? Like, do you think people in general listen to too much music and it's kind of made music like a necessity for you to get through the day?
No, but one thing that's sad about the music industry is the fact that like music has become so commercialized. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you could argue that you listen to music for dopamine hits too. Like I listen to music for dopamine hits because like it sounds good and you feel like good while or after listening to music. And like I feel like modern day music prioritizes the lack of connection dopamine versus like actual soulful music. I do like soulful music actually, but I don't listen to that a lot because I don't feel like there's a lot of good soulful music out anymore. So I stopped like nowadays I only
What
listen
is
to
soulful music?
like soul music.
Oh, soul music.
Yeah, yeah. Like something that I feel like does establish a good connection, but then those are all rarely produced and then I don't really listen to a lot of old music, so
Well, do you think the purpose of music is to give you dopamine hits or to give you pleasure, or do you think it's to appreciate art? Like, what should it really be the goal of music?
I don't really I don't really listen to music to appreciate art anymore. I think I used to, but now I just listen for dopamine hits. That's pretty much it. Because there's not a lot of time, and also I don't know. It's like for me, I feel like appreciating things also takes like mental energy. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get so much I get consumed by academic work or anything else so much that I don't really have time to appreciate other things.
Do you think that's bad? Do you wish it was another way?
Yeah, I mean obviously that's bad. Like I mean there's a lot of things that I do like if I had time to appreciate. Like I like going on walks. I like nature. I
Yeah.
like I like silence, but then my life is like filled with too many things going on that there's you it's like you're like imagine you're eating like you could cook for yourself versus eating McDonald's like something quick
Yeah.
like fast. And then okay, like maybe the first few days you're like you eat what you normally cook, but then later on you can only like you really don't have time to eat anything else, so you can only buy fast food, right? And
Yeah.
although you don't really like fast food, which I don't really like fast food, but then eventually you've had to like repeatedly eat fast food so much that like you kind of got used to it. And then it's not that you like it, but then you just kind of like resort to eating it like convenience. And then you don't really have time to actually like cook or like actually appreciate like good quality healthy food. So
Okay.
that's how I feel like the difference between like actually appreciating like
I
music
see.
versus yeah.
Well, do you think it's a shame that schools like, universities and stuff, they claim that they want you to think and like explore and, you know, try different things, but then they actually don't give you the time to do that. Because you feel like your academics take over everything.
Not really. I think the university definitely offers resources to explore.
Well, you said you wish you had more time to like appreciate other things as opposed to academics. Do you think academics takes up too large a portion of your time that it doesn't give you the time to, question things and think about other things with the same level of effort that you put into academics? Or do you think the job of a full-time student is to just be a student?
Well, I wouldn't say like my life is busy and I would say my life is busy, but I wouldn't blame it on the university because the university definitely offers like other ways towards like studying. But then it's just because like what is it like our major is kind of like competitive
Mm-hmm.
and there's like a and then it's I would say it's more of like a result of like society's engineering. Like we're kind of forced to not prioritize ourselves or not enjoy certain things in order to achieve a certain goal. Like for example, like you want to go to med school, so you have to like dedicate basically your summer studying MCAT, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want to do that? No. But then, and do you have to do that? Like,
Yeah.
do you have to do that? Not really, because a lot of people Like there's some people that actually stay for MCAT after college. Like this is you're like what 2 years earlier than necessary.
Well,
But
early
then
and
like
late, yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
not you're not really late. You're like
Well,
early.
yeah, yeah, but I mean like early, whatever. Like those are all subjective.
Subjective, yeah. I
Anyway, yeah,
mean,
yeah, I see your point.
relatively, you are pretty early. But then like, like you don't have to do this, but you're doing it. Why? Because like not because the university asked you to, it's because of society's like is geared towards that way. Like I feel like society is engineering us to live up to an inhumane standard, and we kind of idolize an like the lack of humanity. Like look at how we idolize like a lot of idols. Like for example, like Mike Tyson, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a human, and the reason why we idolize him is the inhumane aspect of what he appeals to us, like his
Oh, I
work
see.
ethic, work discipline. Like we idolize the lack of humanity in people, and that's what society also gears us to try to achieve,
That's
even though
interesting.
that's not what we are. So I feel like it's not the university's fault that we're, being forced to be busy, but it's just society's,
Hmm.
you know,
Interesting
objectives or
take.
just
Yeah.
overall idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree actually to some extent. I think people are kind of pressured to do more than either what they want to or what they can do at this point. I feel like especially the problem is more than what they want to. A lot of people I feel like don't end up doing what they really want to do. And for one reason or another that may be the more realistic option, but it is a bit sad that it is the more realistic option.
Yeah. I mean, I used to want to just like be able to just chill and live life and
Just chill and do
be able to
nothing
just
all day.
no, not chill and do nothing, but then they just like, tend to a garden or like go on walks, like
Oh, I
something
see.
more peaceful. Like maybe be a gardener of some sort. But then I realized like, damn, no, like my sense of materialism is not developed by myself, but it's ingrained into me from society
Mm-hmm.
and from my experiences like as a individual from a more well-off family. So like my pursuit of materialistic wealth is ingrained in me by my parents and society. And so I've kind of like that's why my identity of like originally I wanted to be like just chill and just live life, it kind of got whittled away, and
Mm-hmm.
this like new part of me is like emerging. Yeah.
Do you think that's
Because if there
a
wasn't
good
if
thing that
there
happened
wasn't
to you?
huh?
Do you think that's good that it happened to you, or do you think it's
In
fine
terms of my
either way?
overall growth, I think it's a good thing. Well, I mean, I'm a different person now, so I can't really
Yeah, yeah, of course.
so I would say it's a good thing because like it's definitely helped me improve a lot on how I progress as an individual in society. I could see
Mm-hmm.
how it's gonna positively affect me in the future. But maybe for my past self, it wouldn't seem like as nice because like, oh, like you lost a bit of yourself where you could have appreciated some smaller things or more like meaningful things instead of what I have now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, I don't have any more questions for you. Do you have any questions that you were thinking that should be asked on a show like this about? I mean, obviously, it goes past video games every time because that's the point. But is there any questions you have?
I don't know, what is your take on video games? What do you think it helps us? Or do you think it's actually helpful?
I think they're helpful to an extent because I originally also had a problem with them, as I stated before, and I talked about it in another episode. But
Yeah.
like you, it's fixed through distractions and thinking about other things and not being hyper fixated on one thing all the time. But now I feel like in this current day and age, it is a positive thing, especially if you're playing with friends. I think it builds a lot of social skills, not skills, but it builds social capital, I guess, because you meet new people through the game, and that's how I met a lot of my friends was through like common interest in video games. So I feel like
Or your high school
huh?
your high school friends?
Yeah, most of them were met through like the act of just playing video games together. That's how, I mean, we were obviously friends in high school too, but over COVID we could have just completely split apart. But we all found a common interest in video games,
Mm.
and that
I see.
kept us together. And we also built our more of our friend group. We included more people so we could play with more
Mm.
people, and like that's how you eventually built the group. So that's, I feel like that was, that's something that's irreplaceable. Like, I feel like if not for video games, that wouldn't have happened. So I can't ever say that they were a bad thing. I can't ever say I regret them, because otherwise I wouldn't have what I have today. But I also do think there's an extent to which you shouldn't play them all the time, because I mean I had at one point like 100 hours a week of games during like the height of the pandemic. That's pretty unhealthy if you ask me. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing there's nothing that was worth playing that much. I could have done other things. I'm not saying necessarily more productive, but just, variety, just increased my variety of activities and just explore
Wait,
a little
100
more.
hours.
Yeah, it's excessive. That's why I'd say it's not healthy. That much I can admit is not healthy. But the amount I play
Wait,
now, like sometimes on the weekends, sometimes not.
wait, this CS:GO?
It was, yeah, I think it was. That was like the height of, like, when there was no school. It was, you couldn't go outside. It's like I really didn't know what else to do.
Oh, 100 hours per week is like divided by 7. That's like that's like more than 10 hours per day.
I think so. Yeah. I don't. I mean, obviously, some of it was like AFK while I was, away, like eating or something. But it was still
I mean,
unnecessary. It's not like, yeah, I'm not supposed to play that much. No one is supposed to play that much.
yeah, I think I forgot which summer. Like there was one summer where I just spent the entire summer playing Breath of the Wild. Do you know that game?
Yeah, the Zelda one, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty nice game. But yeah, that was like the game where I think I spent the entire summer
That's great.
because it was just so good.
That's
That
funny.
was really fun. Yeah,
But yeah,
that was
things
actually
like that are like unhealthy, obviously.
yeah, yeah. It was just like, but it was. I think the thing about Zelda that's different from other video games, is like it's like you're reading a story at the same time.
That's true.
Like
A
you
lot
fight.
of games are like art. They have stories and all that. I think those are good, but if you don't moderate how much you play, the game itself actually becomes less fun. And I figured that out firsthand. Like if you wait in between, I mean, the mere exposure effect is like true to an extent, but after a while, if you played the game for a long time, you need breaks in between playing to actually make you like miss the game or to make it fun. Because otherwise, it's boring. It's the same thing over and over. There's just no way it's gonna stay fun if you keep playing it all day, unless there's like a
Yeah,
really really important like competitive rank that you need to get. Then I can see why you'd like be trying to
that's
grind
too
all day.
silly. Bro. Get alive, bro.
It's
That's too
like,
silly.
yeah, I feel like unless you're really serious about doing esports or something, you should not put so much energy and commitment just to like be disappointed if you don't get the rank you wanted, because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, that game in 20 years, the servers will die and no one will ever remember anything about it. So,
Or World War III gonna happen, and then everyone's gonna die, and no one
okay,
cares
that's
about it.
that's a little more pessimistic, but yeah, that's my take on games. I think,
And then your like entire family's gonna die, and then like no one remember
okay,
your
I
life.
think we
And
should
then
end the episode soon. um, yeah, that was good. It's still light outside. Oh, I guess you're 7 p.m.
wait, is that podcast ending?
Yeah, I mean, it usually doesn't go on longer than like 40 minutes.
Really? So can I troll now?
I mean, we have to first do our closing statement. I don't know. There's no closing statement. I'll just say
Oh,
thanks for listening. Tune in
please
next
subscribe,
time.
like, and follow our own.